you said earlier, Kamar, it's all about, it's not necessarily what you have to say, it's how you say it. And I don't find that this guy says things in a way that
he was delivering as a victim.
Well, it just doesn't give me like, I don't know, faith. He seems like he's so butthurt that he's been now compromised. Do you know what I mean? He can't think rationally because he had so many people telling him he was wrong.
But I mean, that you have to be butthurt. Everyone has to be butthurt. Like everyone seems like they're butthurt. Like just for instance, Jordan Peterson thing seems like he's butthurt.
Yeah, and like if you let's talk about Jordan Peterson.
And so they start at the beginning. He's been told he's got to go for reprogramming basically to keep his license, and that's kind of crazy. He's in a position where it doesn't matter. Like had he somehow gotten all the notoriety, but just still been a professor, like they just had employed. He's made so much money off his writing and stuff. He can lose his license. It doesn't affect him. But
when and if Canada does things like that, it makes us seem like we're in some sort of
it gives Joe that
dictatorial, that feel. And all I'm worried about is we've heard Joe disparage Canada before, having all the wrong information. They're so angry. They're so angry. I don't know if you're going to get the
Peterson's so angry and Weinstein's so angry.
All of these guys who feel like they were shouting from the rooftops the right thing as everybody else disparaged them are now so angry. I don't know if we're going to get the information that is the most true, if that makes sense.
Their anger will make them lie.
It'll taint the way they tell the story, and then it doesn't matter what you're saying, it's how you say it.
But Simon, let me just offer them, and let me extend an olive branch to them. First of all, they're human beings. So you're a human. Like, let's say, we've done 220 episodes. Let's say I spent every one of these 220 episodes calling you a fucking idiot and dragging your name through the mud for believing in Bigfoot. Now, hold on, hear me out.
I've been listening.
Let's say episode 230, they find Bigfoot. I feel like you're going to walk in here with that Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? And
I'm going to walk in here in a fucking gorilla suit. There's no doubt about it.
And again, I wouldn't even hold it against you. Like, I don't, I understand that side of it. Like, I can see why we look at them like they're intelligent people who shouldn't have like these
feelings, these
emotional outbursts. They shouldn't have. At the end of the day,
take it personal.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I can, Brett Weinstein, for example, like he got thrown out of. He was trying to teach kids, and they were like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit," and got rid of him. And his wife's had to deal with it.
If they take away your ability as well to make money, like in all facets, because now he can't get hired anywhere, even if you want to go quietly in the night and be a professor somewhere. So he has to make money. So he's trying to make money on YouTube.
I don't know.
He's being suppressed for being right.
I don't know what kind of a man he is. You know what I mean? Brett Weinstein. I just don't know. I don't know enough about him. I don't know him personally. A guy like Jordan Peterson, the fact that he's still even this is why right from the start, Jordan Peterson his whole thing has been to take an idea that may be possible and convince people that it's a problem right now.
Sure.
That's what his whole shtick has been right from the start. And he's doing it again right now. I'm sure he has to, because he's lost so many, when you're preaching to keep your closet clean and your closet is fucking filthy. I don't even understand how this guy is even in the fucking conversation anymore.
Because the whole conversation is about ideas, whether they're wackadoodle or not. And people want to hear his ideas.
I would hope that the market, smart people, understanding people would regulate it in a way, meaning that they would stop listening to a guy like this. The second he proves himself to be a fucking hypocrite, we don't need him. There are a million other people like him out there who have clean closets while they preach about having a fucking clean closet. It's so backwards to me. It's like this whole Logan Paul thing, which we'll get to later, I'm sure. But like,
he wanted you to clean your room, not your closet, right?
I know,
okay,
Maddie.
Just checking.
That sounds like an anti-gay sentiment, sort of, eh?
Clean that closet up while you're in there.
That wouldn't surprise me if it turned out that he was a fucking, he had a hard stance on that too. You know what I
He's
mean?
very religious, so you never know.
I mean,
Redemption.
it does say in the Bible that those people are to be, I don't know.
His main crime is saying ideas that upset people, though.
His main crime.
That's what he's done and profiteered off it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's just like a merchant of what he is trying to have you believe as like he's just Andrew Tate. They're the same thing.
Hold on. Let's back this up a bit. I get what you're saying, but to say he's Andrew Tate is a little much. Like, he is a clinical psychologist. He went to school and he helped people. He taught people for decades before anyone knew his name, right?
Sure.
So all that's true.
Yeah, all that's true.
His benzo addiction, as far as we know, started after the notoriety. Right?
Okay.
Like, it's not like he was like just a closet benzo
I mean,
addict.
we have
We
no
don't know,
idea.
but let's...
Wow.
Chances are it's been going on the whole time, but it doesn't even matter.
Hold on. I would say chances are it hasn't because...
He's worked. He was just a professor before.
Yeah, and it seems like, it seems like a small Kermit the Frog professor from Canada gets this huge amount of notoriety, sells like a shitload of books.
Because of YouTube.
And again, I'm not...
Because he found a really controversial topic that he knew would
But no, the topic...
get his name into
No,
the
I
news.
The topic,
disagree.
Yes,
the topic
No.
found him.
No, wrong.
Just like Russell...
Simon, hold
Russell
on.
Peters
Wait.
didn't put his clip out. Someone put
Wait.
his clip out, and that blew up.
Yeah, Simon.
Not by his design.
This is where you're wrong. He became wildly famous and popular because of a clip someone else posted.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying,
Then he leaned into it pretty fucking hard.
that I will...
As soon
hold
as
on.
he saw he could make some cash off
Hold
it,
on.
he
As-
leaned into that.
and
Okay, so I'm
99%
sorry.
of people
He's
would.
more like Tim Pool then.
Okay, sure. My point is just like, hold on.
He came
Andrew...
before them.
Jordan Peterson, if you really listen to what he's saying, you might be like, he can't tell me to clean my room as a benzo addict. I'm with you there. That's fine. But if you really listen to like everything he said in public, he's not out there like Andrew Tate saying anything that outlandish. He's saying, I don't think you should be forced into any compelled speech. There really is no like the comparison. What I'm saying, Simon, is like Andrew Tate is out there, I think, intentionally trying to infuriate a lot of people.
Oh, and that's exactly what I think Jordan Peterson is
A
doing.
rabble rouser.
Look, if you look
Fair enough.
back when he, and again, I'm not taking a stance on any sort of trans issue here. Like, I'm just talking about what Jordan Peterson was doing, okay? When he started this whole thing, he kind of did what Joe did, where he let people believe that there was this thing that was going to put you in jail for speaking your mind. I just don't think that's actually the case. I think there's been one record of that actually happening. It was like a father who wouldn't, he
one
was
too many.
misgendering his son or whatever. I mean, look, yeah, it doesn't make sense that the guy goes to jail. At the same time, when you look at that case, like, there should be a better compromise than that. You know what I mean?
Okay, but Simon, it's also easy to say that now. 10 years from now, you might look back and be like, oh shit, that was a slippery slope where now we're here. I'm just right now where we stand. I kind of agree with you. I guess maybe he was, making a scene about something that wasn't that big a deal. But I think you're also forgetting that he was a teacher at a school who got accosted by his students because of his opinion, which wasn't that outlandish.
And some students were for him.
Yeah, there were students there.
I
that were-
believe the ones who filmed it were like sort of, this is our professor, we believe in him, and it was that, and the other side was like green haired, sorry to describe the other side yelling at him, and so it was just this visceral anger caught, and then for sure he leaned, but I
Because in my opinion,
challenge anyone not to lean if there's an opportunity there. Like I don't know what his other option is.
because Simon, I got to tell you, if you really go back and watch that 20-minute clip that whoever posted of him arguing with the students, nothing in that is wildly like. He grabs his phone.
Well, because I'm listening to you. Go
No.
ahead.
There's just nothing to me in that clip that is like, oh, this guy's a real like the Andrew Tate thing. I don't know.
Well, let's just go back a second. So what really, besides the, no, because that will even, what's the difference between Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson?
Well, just
None.
can I say one thing first?
There's no
Hold on,
difference.
Hold on.
Or
No,
Logan
no,
Paul,
hold on.
or CoffeeZilla.
Sorry, go
or-
ahead. CoffeeZilla is totally
No,
different.
they're all the same.
I'll say this again. He's not the first clinical psychologist to write a self-help book.
Of course not.
Okay, so my point is like it's not outside of his wheelhouse or someone in his, in that realm to write a. So yeah, he did what any human being would do. Right now, people know my name. I'm going to write a book based exactly in what I do, which is try to get people to turn their life around. That's where I'm like Andrew Tate is trying to drop some knowledge, but I sent you that CoffeeZilla thing. Like he's out there straight up trying to scam you. There might be hear me out. Hold on. No, there is. Hold on.
Oh yes.
If 10,000 people read Jordan Peterson's book and it helped them, that's different than joining Andrew Tate's fucking Ballers Club, right?
Totally. Like even it's a little different.
Unless that helps them, then we're in a difficult position.
Even if he's a benzo addict and you're like, well, you can't really tell people to clean your room.
Forget the benzo addict. Him selling that book is kind of the same thing as what's his name selling his school. Not exactly, because that seems like much more of some sort of like pyramid scam, but you're still using your notoriety to sell this idea that you're making people better. I don't know, man. Listen, maybe
it's
I'm
a lot easier than working.
Maybe I'm wrong about Jordan Peterson. That's totally possible. I'm a fucking idiot. And maybe he's in history going to turn out to be, you know, a top-notch guy. My radar, my bullshit detector, like Joe always claims to have the best one, goes off like crazy around that dude. And I've been pretty fucking spot on with the people I've said have been full of shit, man. Kanye.
Here we go. Okay, Simon, I gotta
They're
ask.
different.
I gotta ask you the important question though. There's no one. The market. You were like the market works itself out, right? So if you needed a clinical psychologist,
I said I hope that the market would work itself out.
If you needed a clinical psychologist, the Canadian government isn't going to force you to go see Jordan Peterson, right?
Absolutely not. They will not let you go see Jordan Peterson now.
But this is my point. My point is, you might not like Jordan Peterson. It doesn't mean that he isn't an accredited psychologist, whatever the fuck the proper terminology is. So just because you might not like what he says or his opinion doesn't mean he's not allowed to practice what he studied for, right? Like he hasn't done anything egregious to be like if
Holocaust denial.
If they came out and said he has broken the code of ethics in this, and this, then I understand. You revoke whatever license.
I didn't say they should revoke like that. I said that right off the start.
I get it, but I get it.
Canada's crazy, obviously.
That's my point. This is where the problem lies, is that they're ready to do this because they don't like him. It has nothing to do with how he treats people in his clinic or any of that shit. It doesn't have to do with any of that. It's we don't like this guy. And
I haven't done enough research to see what it is that Canada actually wants to do, because I know that with the last time where he was trying to say that, you know, if you misgender someone, you're going to jail. Like he has a way of, or maybe the internet creates these things around him. I don't know, man. And then he just leans into it as like the martyr. But I don't know. Like,
well, Simon, in his defense, historically speaking, every law that I've ever heard of where they passed, where they were like, we're never going to use this, it's only extreme circumstances, they've always then gone ahead and used it egregiously, right? So that's usually like, I get what you're saying. Like, well, they're not just going to throw you in jail for misgendering someone, but I mean, look at Mike Ward. You know, we always, like the three of us sat here growing up, like we have free speech. They're not going to, and I get it that Mike Ward won his case in the end, but imagine if someone came after you and you had to spend $200,000. Like,
I totally agree. And look, Canada obviously has some like weird fucking.
This way, it's not Canada. It's the College of Psychologists of Ontario. So it's just Ontario. Like it's not the federal government is stepping in and saying this. No one in the Canadian government is saying anything about Jordan Peterson. Doug Peterson probably has him over for pool parties. It's this one collegiate organization.
They obviously control if you can
the licensing
do business
of the psychologists in Ontario.
Well, I would imagine that that's a government body, no?
No, I don't think so.
I wonder how No,
I think it would have to be if you're like giving people some sort of ability to go help other people.
They definitely are getting funding from the government.
Universities are government-run facilities. You may think that they're a private enterprise, but they're not. They're completely subsidized by the government. But they just.
But we found out there's like 10 in Canada that are private,
and one. No, it was one in Canada. No, private.
No, he pulled up like 10.
Each university has a president, though.
Okay,
and then it runs.
They probably need to have a private, like to relinquish the government from any sort of.
I'm trying to defend the government here. unbelievably. But I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility that just in this organization they're deciding they're having this hissy fit. Not being directed by someone.
Possibly. Or maybe they are being directed by the prime minister. Who fucking knows? I don't know, man. You're right. I'm totally tainted. I think Jordan Peterson is full of shit. So the idea of like trying to stand behind some cause that he's running to me just seems backwards.
That's fine. But,
It's like I'm not going to support Elon Musk either because I feel like 10 years from now,
my point, though, is
he is not going to be somebody to be supporting.
My point, though, is you're doing a dangerous thing where you're putting the person in front of the cause. Like Elon Musk tomorrow could come out and be like, we really need to find Bigfoot. This could be the key. And you would be behind that cause. You wouldn't necessarily be behind Elon, but you'd be like, hey, you know what? This guy's actually speaking some sense in this one area.
I wish that we had another advocate besides Jordan Peterson, a guy who again, has proven himself to be untrustworthy.
I agree.
I don't agree with that statement.
You don't agree.
Untrustworthy. I think there's the level of people who are more untrustworthy than Jordan Peterson.
Okay, sorry. Untrustworthy. Maybe that's a bad word.
Hold on.
I don't think he should be the light that's held up for people to follow.
He's not. He's a light or a stop sign.
The same way Tate shouldn't be. And look, anybody has an opportunity to make themselves into whatever.
But
wait, hold on.
Do you believe he believes what he's saying?
Hold on.
Or it's just a character?
Jordan Peterson?
Yes.
I mean, I would have a hard time.
As far as credibility goes, you know what I mean? Like versus someone who's one way publicly, but they're a totally different person. He is that guy.
I mean, I have no idea, man. I would have said that too. You know what? It doesn't. Whatever.
I have a good
Let's
question
move
for
off
you.
of Jordan
Wait, I have a
Peterson.
good question for you, though, in closing. How about this?
Sure.
And this has to do with Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, whatever. They're both good examples because let's take religion. Okay, let's take the Bible. We all agree that there's some heinous shit in the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. But if someone wants to if someone chooses to live a good life based on what they take from the Bible, then we're all okay with that. It's a wash, right? So I kind of look at it the same. Like, if someone goes to Jordan Peterson, if someone reads let's say Jordan Peterson wrote that book, Ripped on Benzos. Okay, clearly, like, he's covered in Cheeto dust. He's in tighty whities writing this Clean Your Room book. He's ripped on benzos. Let's say it does change the lives of 50,000 people. Let's say, on the other hand, too, Andrew Tate and all his crazy shit also improves the lives of 50,000 people. Like, I just look at it like, there are terrible things in every aspect of everything. We don't always throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Sure, there's probably a net gain from Jordan Peterson is what you're saying. And all I'm saying is I bet you that idea can be put out there by a different person and have a 90% net gain. Why do we have to put up with this guy who's clear?
Just one question, last question in closing. Do you think Jordan Peterson is actually hurting anyone?
Do I think Jordan Peterson is actually hurting anybody?
Feelings included?
Feelings don't count. No, of course not. I'm saying, like, do you understand what I mean? Like,
no, I do. Is his message actually hurting anybody? I mean,
because
no.
Andrew Tate, you could argue his message might be.
I'd have to look into a little more of what Jordan Peterson is saying. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not holding you over it. I'm just saying from what you know on the. I'm not saying deep dive. I've read everything because I haven't either. But I'm just asking you from what you know. Do you think that Jordan Peterson is doing any harm?
No, probably not. But caveat being, I'd have to look into a little more about what he's saying about trans people and things like that and the only reason I say that, look, I'm not like a huge activist guy out there. I just know that even in my lifetime, 1980s, 1990s, being gay was like a fucking taboo thing. It was exactly like this trans thing is now. And though this seems way weirder to us, like imagine now looking back then and not accepting somebody who's gay just seems crazy. It seems crazy.
But
seems like it hides behind it though.
I mean, I don't know what that means.
Well, it means like a gay person will tell you it's not a choice. Like I'm just gay, right? But we're finding with some of these trans people, it is a choice. Like they weren't born trans; they just decided they were trans, like in some body dysmorphic way. Whereas
I mean, you're getting into a semantic argument at this point, but
well, no, we have We have one example.
I just think
of
it's different, but it is the same but different because of that.
It shouldn't really matter what it is, though. Do you know what I mean? If people wanted to paint themselves blue and it's not fucking hurting you, what difference does it make?
But I can give you an
This is
example.
affecting gender.
But Simon, I can give you an example. So Jordan Peterson famously in that interview was asked, like, so do you think that someone should have to make a cake for a gay couple if it's like against their religion? And he was like, no, I don't think they should. And then the reporter followed up with, okay, but what about like
A black cake.
black cake? Yeah. And he was like, well, yeah, I think they should. And he said, isn't it the same? And then Jordan Peterson sat there and literally you could see he thought about it and he said, yeah, you know what? I guess it is kind of the same. And yeah, I've changed my mind right here and now. Yeah, I do think you should have to make it despite. I thought that took a, you know.
I would think so too. Look, if he's still out there having his mind turned all the time.
Again, keep in mind, I'm not defending the guy. I don't think he's an incredible person. He clearly has a lot of fucking baggage and issues. I'm just saying, like, I don't put him up there with Andrew Tate in where I can see some of the things that Andrew Tate says, if they were interpreted by a young adolescent mind, they could be troublesome. I don't see a lot of what Jordan Peterson has said as like super. A lot of people have like, you know, made it damning, but I don't know.
You don't have to take any
Very
drugs or
innocuous.
have any surgeries to be gay. Like it's not. That's what. That's
Well,
where it's a
that doesn't-
decision.
that's a-
And
but
you
that's
don't
a
necessarily have to take any drugs or do that to be trans.
well,
You can-
apparently you do.
well, do you? There are
beta
lots of
blocker, you have
trans
to fuck
people
with
who
puberty.
never
Hold on, though. Come on.
who never changed their.
I'm just saying that's why
thing.
it's different.
I get it, but against your own argument, like you were saying that a gay person just is like, I'm gay. I wasn't, it's not a choice. I just feel gay. You could make the same argument for someone who's trans. They could just their whole life have felt like, I
But
feel like
hold
I'm a
on.
guy.
What if you just want to be gay? Is that not okay?
No, that is fine.
They
I'm
should
just
live their
using
whole
his-
life then.
No,
at
no, no.
least to
But
be 18
but
years old
I'm
before
just
they make
saying
that
he
decision.
keeps saying like that's his go-to argument here. Again, if you're not hurting somebody else,
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck you want.
You're
Like,
hurting yourself possibly.
But Jordan, but again,
You do that by doing drugs, like, and nobody has a problem with that, you know? Or I mean, they do, but nobody is condemning.
It's a
you
false
or
equivalency. That's what I'm trying to say.
gay and trans is a
Yes.
okay. Whether they're the same thing or not, it's this idea that seemed foreign is now the norm for good reason. And like, can you not? Do you have a problem with gay rights?
No.
So everything to this point, net gain. You know what I mean?
But it's how like it gets complicated how trans rights actually interfere on feminist rights, and it gets all complicated there. It's just I understand what you're saying, and I'm not anti-trans, but I'm trans skeptical because of like
That's good. That's really good. Is that yours?
It is.
That's great. You should fucking patent
we just
that
did
shit.
it. Okay,
Trans-skeptical.
let's just
Well,
drop.
that's gonna get us canceled.
Let's just drop Jordan Peterson.
Sure.